Y'all hear me, family? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Come in, family. Can you hear me? Check, mic, check, 1, 2. Mic, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me, family? All right, we coming back. We in the building. Yeah, they try to, they try to do some janky stuff sometime, man. But we in the building. Hear me, family? All right, we coming back. Right, all right, all right, all right. We're gonna let some folks come on into the building real quick. I'm gonna do some real quick house cleaning. Make some people come on into the building and we're gonna rock out. Oh yeah, it's time for the payback. Yes, sir. Time for the alpha male payback. Rock out. Woo! Yes, sir. Y'all on into the building on this Urban Matters Black Media Group coming to you live right now. We tried to hit the 7:30 mark, but we didn't hit it. We're gonna start working on that, y'all. We gotta be on time. We gotta, especially when we're giving this war briefing. Come on into the building, man, and let's chop up some heavy game. Yes, sir. Run it. Yes, sir. All right, we in the building. All right, all right, all right, all right. I am your gracious host, Dr. Juice, coming at you real live, real hot fire. Here we go. We're going to drop this hot fire on you tonight. We dropped it on you this morning. We got to drop some more on you tonight. So, this is a war briefing. So, get ready to hear anything that may be out of the ordinary on this Urban Matters Black Media Group war briefing. And this is the new black media. This is how we are taking charge of our destinies. And we're no longer listening to fake news. We're no longer listening to white media. We're no longer trying to accept that. We had a bunch of trolls popping in on us last night. Professor, did you handle that trolling that was going on last night?
First of all, hello, Dr. Juice.
How's it going, bro?
Man, let me tell you, I listen to you. As a professor, of course, we have to always make assessments of our students and give them feedback on, their educational progress,
All right. Yes, sir.
And I don't know where, I don't care where I am, I'm going to always speak to your progress. And I just want to take a few minutes to speak to your progress. Man, you've just really grown. You've expanded your knowledge on your passion for data, man. And when I first talked to you about that, I knew that giving you that knowledge along with the fire that just keep burning in you, that has really created an amazing thing along with the ancestors behind you. So I just want to commend you, on that part of it. And I just want to add one other thing while you wait on your folks. You'll like this economical statement. You're so into group economics, and I want to just take about 3 minutes to really give you a good appreciation of group economics. Do you mind?
Go ahead. No problem. Absolutely.
So when we have conversations, it's a term that I want you to start thinking about. Okay, and of course we'll go through it. But think about this in your conversation. Think about the term quantitate. How do you quantitate your value? And that's going to be an important concept, and it's going to really, really make sense. It probably makes sense now, but even more and more. And what I mean by that is, you always want me to say something about history. So let me say something about history quite briefly. And I'll sum it up this way. It's unfortunate that Black Americans, foundational Americans, we are not a valued labor force anymore. We became obsolete in the 60s. We became obsolete when they told us to go to school, get a good education, get a good job. Now, the problem with that concept, they didn't tell you to make your own job, as you well know. So today, Black people are finding out they got these master's degrees, PhDs, all this education, and they can't get a job. But let me show you how I quantitate at this point in my in the business. How many hours would you think? How many hours would you say, real briefly, that I put into Urban Matter Live, Dr. Jew? Just roughly, you ain't got to, right off the top of your head, how many hours in terms of, VOS computer system supporting you? Just give it. No, I know countless, but don't, I'm not going to accuse you of being your audience. Just give me a number and be fair about it. Just give me a fair, I'm talking about it because listen, hold on before you do that. In my world, I do what we call, here's another quantitative term, billable hours. See, a lot of people go around and say, oh, I'm a consultant, but the key to consulting is how many hours did you actually bill an invoice? All right, you measure man hours. You've heard all those terms. So having said that, give me just a rough number of, and just think for a minute of my time. Give me a number, Dr. Juice.
Here,
Sorry?
I need a calculator.
Damn, that many hours. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I'm working on it, calculating. At 365 days in a year, I would say roughly 2,000 hours
2,000 hours
per year.
per year. All right, so I'm just gonna give you a little calculation. So of those 2,000 years, I'll say 30% of the time I was bullshitting. So what's 60% of that?
Let's see. %60 of that is roughly. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. I'm listening. Take your time.
60% of that's around probably a little over 1,700.
All right, 1,700. You ready? Is that okay? I'm going back. I don't care what number. I'm gonna keep going. I don't want to hold up the show. I'm doing something.
100 hours.
1,700 hours. We agree up. All right, 1,700 hours. All right. So you remember I had this concept. We talked about time and how you measure. You know, I'm an investigator, so time has so many different meanings. So here we go. In the mid 2000s, I would say I was working for KPMG. I started with KPMG around 2006. Yeah, 2006. Okay. And at that time, well, first of all, for your audience, I don't think you know KPMG, right?
Right.
Well, let me just say KPMG is the fourth largest consulting firm in the world, international. I'll leave it at that. So at that time, KPMG, if they sent me to Urban Matter Live, right, as a consultant with all the things that I've done, we won't go into that. But the time that I spent, at that time they were billing me out at $500 an hour. So here's the formula. So all the 2,000 hours that I've engaged Urban Matter Live, I gave you 30% for bullshit. So now we're down to 1,700. So what's 500 times 1,700, Doctor? Just do that for me. I want to write that down. Go ahead. I can't hear you.
11,005.
How much again? 500 times 1,700. What's that number, sir?
11,500.
No. Okay, let me do the math again.
You said 17.
Yeah, let me be clear. I'm sorry. I don't want to confuse you. 1,700 man hours you gave me.
Right.
Times $500 an hour, bro. That man.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's 850,000.
All right, there you go. That's the number I was looking for. All right, 850,000. So let's tell that data story one more time, and then I'll let you carry on. So here's that story of that data exercise we went through. If KPMG, if you hired KPMG for me back in 2006, you would have to pay KPMG $500 an hour for my time. Of course, I didn't get that, but still, that's what the master sent me out there for. All right, that's the cotton I was picking. So I'll land my plane by saying that if my time is worth that, which it was, we got the data. That's my contribution to, you know, he was talking about all this teamwork and all this. So I just wanted to, quantitate to you my contribution. So if any of them folks in your neighborhood talk about professor ain't shit, he ain't doing shit and whatever, run that formula by him. Talk to him about it. I'll land my plane, bro.
Yeah, Professor. Thank you for that. Definitely, we always appreciate the feedback and the input. Professor was just trying to break down, the mechanics and the numbers behind consulting. We thank him for that, and definitely thank him for that. We're just trying to make sure we're getting our microphone right, y'all. I'm trying to play with it a little bit. I got some real quick I want to share with the family real quick. Here we go. Speaking of economics, Professor, what's your feedback on this?
Go on strike, that has global impact. It's not just going to be the Eastern Gulf Coast by any means. This is going to resonate throughout the global supply chain system. And what we're seeing now is everybody is front loading their cargo, getting it out. And the reason we know that is you just got to look at freight rates. This is the Drewry World Index showing ocean shipping. Now, this is their composite world index, and it has taken $1,000 nosedive over the past few days. Look over at their rates for around the world. We see similar, the Shanghai to New York, Genoa, Los Angeles, Rotterdam, all.
What we're looking at, family, right here, we're looking at the Eastern Coast shipping lanes and the shipping volume coming into the Eastern Coast. They call them, these numbers come from your midshipmen. I know you guys probably got a lot of family members that work on the docks, but they're getting ready to prepare for a strike because they don't like these numbers. And just let's go back to the pandemic. You remember that containers and whatnot were on strike. A lot of these companies that were supplying the containers that come in on the shipping vessels, and we had a whole clusterfuck of shipping disruptions. And this stuff is starting to trickle again down, and the employees and the workers are about to go on strike. So their unions is organizing and they're about to go on strike. And you know what that spells for you, right? Here we go.
Falling precipitously. This is an indication that we've seen a lot of cargo coming up here in front of the potential.
Oh man, I don't know what happened.
Drewry World Index showing ocean shipping. Now, this is their composite world index, and it has taken $1,000 nosedive over the past few days. Look over at their rates for around the world. We see similar, the Shanghai to New York, Genoa, shutdown of the East and Gulf Coast because of a looming strike.
This is on the Gulf and the East Coast. They're about to shut down.
And this one over at FreightWaves, Stuart Chills, could East Coast port strike spread to the West Coast? The ILW, this is the International Longshore Warehouse Union, has pledged to support the ILA in a contract fight. If the ILW goes out on strike along with the ILA, that is disaster for ocean shipping. Let's be clear. So much of goods come in and out of the United States that if you shut just one port, it has impact. When Baltimore shut down, Baltimore deals with 2 to 3% of U.S. imports, exports. If we start talking about New York, New Jersey, Charleston, Houston, Savannah, L.A. Long Beach, Seattle, Tacoma, Virginia, this is going to have catastrophic impact on freight and shipping. It's going to cause ripples across the entire supply chain. And if you have been following this story, if you look at the ILA and their president Daggett, I mean, they are talking repeatedly about this. And when you delve into the stories, we start to see the facts. This story from one of Mike Schuller's: should a general work stoppage occur on the U.S. Gulf and East Coast, even a 1-week shutdown could take 4 to 6 weeks to recover from, with significant delays. Delay definitely will hit the streets on October 1st. They are not kidding. This is something that should be of paramount importance. We are talking about an event that's maybe 2 weeks away, and there has not been any intervention by the federal government to talk about a labor rectification of this. they're not even negotiating at this point. And if the East Coast, West Coast ports, now I will note that the ILA does not represent every terminal and port. They are not as all encompassing as the ILWU on the West Coast, but it doesn't matter. If a few ports walk out on the East Coast, you're going to have havoc. And this has the potential to be the massive disruption on a scale we haven't seen in a long time. The ILWU and the PMA were going back and forth forever. The ILA is using language that they are adamant. It sounds like they are walking out on October 1st. And it doesn't appear that everyone is worried enough about it. And you should be. Everybody should be worried about this. Because I think Daggett, and if you look at Daggett, I don't think he's kidding. They're going to walk on October 1st. And everyone needs to get ready for this. All right. Hopefully we get a better story number 2. Story number 2 is a reshoot. If you follow this channel, one of the things is that the top 10 ocean carriers in terms of containers control 85% of all the capacity at sea. Those
85%, the data. What? If you don't have your own farm.
What is my time?
Commandment got a plan for this?
Dr. Juice, what is my time relation? Y'all, the white. Wait a minute now. Be fair, Dr. Juice. You let the white professor say what he got to say. I got something to say about that.
And I hope you got something good to say, Professor, because the average person, they ain't even ready for what's about to happen.
Well, hold on, Dr. Juice. Let me just allow me to give my version of it. Are you ready? I'm gonna share with you. You know, a lot of times we don't expose each other to what we do. As you well know, I'll share with you what I'm working on right now as you go through your show. When people see me go back and forth, I'm gonna share my screen. I'm literally working on this, and I haven't published it yet, and I haven't told the world, but I want to give you another version and think about it. And you let me know what you think. As you know, I was just appointed the not assistant, but the associate. I got to get it right. The associate professor for AI and data analytics. Let me share my screen. I'm gonna give you my lecture. I'm writing this. This is the course that they've hired me to teach in Sweden right now. And, you know, I've talked to you about robotics. And let me just say it again. I'm the professor of AI and robotics. So when you look at technology now, think about robotic vessels. Think about autonomous. We ain't just talking about autonomous cars, Dr. Juice. We're talking about autonomous ship. We're talking about, so these are things that, and look, so I'm writing a course in robotics in the pharmaceutical supply chain. So, you know, when you look at this kind of stuff that I'm talking, optimizing decision-making processes, predictive insights for supply chain, machine learning. Why does a machine need to learn? Because it's going to tell the ship what to do. Car drive by itself, ship can drive by itself. You can get robot, all those arms and all this. So I think that the strike is going to be an opportunity to introduce robotic technologies into the pharmaceutical supply chain.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm teaching that. You know, look at this term. Look what I'm going to be lecturing on. How do you enhance production speed? Well, we know when you think about artificial intelligence, AI, that's artificial intelligence, and it thinks faster than a human. So when you start talking about enhancing production speed in a supply chain, that's pretty deep, because there's a lot of variables from a technology perspective to do that. Now, you're a business owner, right? So
Yes.
what's the biggest cost in the business, Dr. Juice?
Biggest cost, and it depends on what business we're talking about.
Any business that you got to, that you, except for slavery, but most business got to pay employees.
Oh yeah, payroll.
Right. So what I'm saying is, don't. So let's say that you're performing a task. I do task analysis. I do process analysis. So in that process, think about this. I'm paying a guy. I'm paying a guy on the dock. How much is I'm paying a guy on the dock, Juice? How much? How much is he making? The load stuff.
Or it's probably making about $30 an hour.
So how much is that a year?
It just depends on how many hours they work. $30 an hour.
We ain't not doing deep math today. Just throwing them out there. 50,000, 80,000. I don't care what it is. Give me a number.
I say roughly, I would say 60 to 70,000.
All right. So, the Chinese are producing robots like you would not believe, and they're getting cheaper. So you're telling me, so I'm gonna put it on you. So if you're spending that a year and you can invest into a robot to do the same job, let's say you got one on the low with the Chinese at $15,000, and now you're able to put, almost $50,000 back in your pocket. What you gonna do, Dr. Juice?
That robot roughly 62.5. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I'll be 65 this year. I can't wait till I'm able to afford me a robot to chop wood. I'm gonna get me a robot to chop wood. So my point is, I'm lecturing on this and I'm kind of practicing on you right now. So this whole world coming to an end and all of this kind of stuff, we're going through a digital transformation. And yeah, if so you say, well, what about the guy? Oh man, all those people lay off. Well, I keep harping about education, bro. The world is not going to feel sorry for you because you're not educated, because it's too much information. So I just want to share. Look at this term right here: improving efficiency and accuracy. So if those guys on strike, hell, they've been coming to work, getting high on third shift because it's midnight and they think they can get away with it. I got you know how your folk. I got people that's now they talking about people with mental issues. So I'm really not getting efficient product with these people, man. So how can I improve as a business owner? How can I improve my efficiency? How can I take? Look at this. Look what I'm going to be talking about. AI is transforming the pharmaceutical supply chain. So there's three things that I look at, and I'm going to end it right here. As a consultant, there's three things. Remember this, Dr. Juice. It's always going to be people, processes, and technology. Those three things that you got to look at to make your organization run efficiently and accuracy. And if you don't handle that, it ain't going to work. I'll rest right there, Dr. Juice. There's your lecture, bro.
Well, I'm going to just keep it above 100 for you. I'm going to play the devil's advocate, Professor. I don't think people taking you serious. I don't think they don't understand the repercussions of what you're saying. They don't think they're going to be outsourced as far as their jobs. They don't. I ain't gonna say they don't. I won't say that they don't know, but they don't care. They just want to have a good time. They want to get paid on Fridays and go and turn up and go on vacations, and they don't really care about what you're saying right now. They don't think that they're going to be victims of what you're saying right now. Can you break down how quick? And I'm talking about the educated class of people. I'm not talking about the street people. I'm talking about the people who are part of the middle class that think they winning. I got a good job. I make about 60, 70 a year. I know my bills equal up to about 50,000 a year, but hey, I'm winning. I can take my check and go and splurge and go on vacation and catch flights and go on cruises and buy Gucci and Prada. And, this stuff don't concern them, man. How can you get through to them, Professor? How can you break this down to them? They don't. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of retarded news, but that's just what it is, my dude.
So I'm going to give you I'm going to give you an explanation.
How can you get them to take it serious?
Well, I'll try to make it in simple terms. A lot of times, as a child, imagine this: you never would believe that stove was hot until you touched it. You never would believe it. They kept telling you, "Okay, little juice, that stove hot. It's hot," and you just, for whatever reason, I don't. And there's a psychological phenomena behind a human being going through that process. We've all gone through that. You know, it's a famous parable story. You know, we use it all the time. You never know that stove is hot until you touch it, bro. So to answer your question, sometimes reality can only be the best teacher. And reality is real. I'll give you an example. Our ancestors was brought to Central Florida to pick oranges. We were the labor force. See, land by itself, those oranges wasn't worth nothing unless somebody picked those oranges off the tree. Nothing. Even the land was worth nothing. But what made out where we grew up, what built the wealth in Central Florida was oranges. My ancestors, your ancestors, we weren't brought to Central Florida to own an orange grove. I think they tell me some black people own it now, but I know for a fact they're back during Reconstruction. There is history where there were black people that owned big orange groves over in the Pasco County area, where Rosewood. You remember Rosewood was over that part. So black people did own orange groves back then, but not under Jim Crow like that. So my point is now, how many black people do you know that pick oranges? And then now people, they can't believe it. So reality, in a lot of cases, have to really set in. And I'll add to that, I'll put my psychology and behavioral science hat on. You must remember the process. A lot of times we wasn't aware. We're looking back now. We're supposed to be more intelligent. You talk about these educated people. So from my perspective, we need to look. We need to look back and analyze and synthesize and theorize on the past to understand. For instance,
but my question, Professor, listen to what I'm saying.
I'm trying to tell you, but go ahead.
They're not. I mean, they can't understand the rhetoric that you are. You have to break it down into their basic terms. What signs and symbols will they be able to acknowledge to get them to see that the time is now? They don't have much time left. They have to transition and transform now. And how can they transform? Like, how do they take what you're saying and turn it into money making ideas?
Well, you got to change. First of all, you got to look at what behaviors are producing you anything. And what I mean by that is,
they say Kamala got it all figured out for them. They don't have to do any thinking. Kamala and Kamami and Jim Crow Joe gonna work it out for them.
Well, you got to understand the Pavlov's dog theory. I'm sure you're familiar with that. You know, the Pavlov dog, and I know you said, "Oh, Professor, you talking over here," but let me just break it down. Pavlov dog was about that dog that they conducted research, and they had a bell. That's the theory of conditioning. And every time they would ring the bell, the dog would slob at the mouth, and he would go eat the food. Simple experiment. Then they proceeded to do another test where, after they've conditioned the dog to slob at the mouth and eat the food, they took the food away. And the dog still went through the whole behavioral process of slobbing at the mouth, of being hungry. But in this case, the food wasn't there. So it was that theory that people have used to do a lot of things, but more especially enslave us. You got to understand, part of this is a conditioning. So you got to be aware. The first step is that you got to be aware that you've been conditioned. You got to be aware that here's a part of conditioning. You know, condition is vote blue no matter who. Vote no matter. So you've been programmed and you've been conditioned not to question. And see, it goes back to religion. I'll always stand on that, because you don't supposed to question anything. You just supposed to believe. That don't don't just stay in church. That becomes a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? That, when I keep harping about critical thinking. And to me, the only thing that would get one to critical think is to be in an adverse condition. Now, it's unfortunate. I heard you ask about the black man that was running for governor. Mike Robinson? I heard you talk about Mike Robinson, right? I know, right? See, here's the thing about Mike Robinson. Now, watch this. We're going back to data. See, you got to be careful about your digital footprint. Don't go away. You might want to fact check and find out when they found that, but they dug back in his digital footprint. Or at least this is what they're accusing him of. We're talking about, I do digital evidence. So let's talk about digital evidence. Okay? They went way back somewhere where they're accusing him, allegedly, to have said that he's a black Nazi. They found that somewhere on the internet. So, and they found some other things. That's what the whole scandal is about. But I know what he was trying to say. And people have been saying it in a different way. In order for us to do what you keep saying to do, you're going to have to be conscious about thinking about what you're doing. Thinking, as you young people would say, how about this, Dr. Juice? I'm gonna imitate Dr. Juice, bro. You got to think about how you move, bro. You moving blind. Does that sound like Dr. Juice? You can't see. You moving in the dark, bro. I think that's what Dr. Juice would say. You don't see nothing. And you're going to bump into something and bust your ass, bro. Did that sound like Dr. Juice?
That sound like Juice, man. You got to be, what Professor is trying to relate to you is that he's trying to break it down fundamentally. Dr. Juice don't really have a whole lot of patience like the professor. And I used to, man, have patience. I used to have all of that, Professor. But I'm telling you, man, it's like the more you patient with these rascals, the more that they make excuses. You feel what I'm saying, Professor? So I'm the type of person, I'm like, at this point, bro, we don't have the time to be tap dancing and shit with these guys and these ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. If you don't act now, your kids and your loved ones are going to perish. Especially with the political leadership that we have in the White House in Washington right now, they are completely clueless on how to run a country. And you can take that for what you want. You can say, hey, Juice saying that because he just a Trump supporter, he just a Republican, he is whatever. You can listen, you can say whatever you want to say. But one thing you won't say, that Juice is a liar. Okay? If I'm lying, come and debate with me. I'm telling you, you don't have much time. And if you're not thinking about your finances right now, you are completely screwed. And just to show you what I'm talking about, I want y'all to give me some feedback on this right here. Because you know me, I like to have the receipts, Professor. You know I like to have the receipts, man.
You're my favorite. You one of my favorite students.
I like to have them receipts for their asses. And I'm gonna see if y'all understand this on the screen that's gonna get ready to pop up. And what this means for you. Because all the big banks, they're taking advantage of it. They're taking advantage of it as we speak. Who even knows what the Federal Reserve is? Some of us do, but I guarantee you about 20% of the people that's watching this right now understand what the Federal Reserve is. Let's go to the New York Times. Let's go to the New York Times article right here, Professor. Go to it. Let's go to it right quick. We're going to go to the New York Times right here. I got to do this, Professor. You know what I'm saying? Because if I don't do it, the digital evidence won't be here for us to come back and check it out later on. Okay. The Fed makes a large rate cut forecast, more to come. So let's see if we can get this other garbage off. I hate when they do this. They want you to subscribe, but I ain't subscribing. Fed officials kicked off rate cuts with a 0.5 point reduction, confident that the inflation is cooling and eager to keep the job market strong. So what they're not telling you right now is that the job market is collapsing. That means there's fewer jobs out here. And so they've been screaming, oh, the job numbers, oh, the job numbers. And Kamala and Joe came out and said they had created so many jobs, 800,000 jobs, since we've been in office. And it's a lie. A damn Uber and an Uber Eats job is not a freaking full-time job. So you got 1.5 million people out here doing Uber Eats and doing damn DoorDash. That's not a real job. That's not real. So what happens is when you don't have enough jobs supporting the economy starts failing. The economy fails, then banks fail, then Americans fail. That's why you need a plan. Professor is sitting here trying to tell you better get some type of skills under your belt that can help you survive tumultuous times. Let's go back to the pandemic. The pandemic, everybody was hurting. Everybody was laid off. Some people lost their jobs. The economy slowed down. Family, you gotta get this, man. I'm telling you, they playing and they're lying. They are lying. The Fed whenever the Federal Reserve makes a large rate cut, that's because they are scared and they don't know what the GDP, gross domestic product numbers are gonna look like. Do you understand this? You don't have time. Don't go on that vacation this year. Put up for hard times right now, please. We're about to go through another pandemic. The pandemic is going to come this winter. You ever heard of a blue winter? You're gonna get one. I guarantee you, and I guarantee you won't be an election this year because the economy is gonna turn. We're gonna have wars. Professor, pull up that article about over in what's going on in Israel, how they're exploding walkie-talkies and radios, and kids are dying. They are literally killing off kids. And you around here worrying about turning up. It's Friday night. I guarantee somebody out right now blowing money. I guarantee it. And you're right. That's your prerogative. You can blow all the money you want to blow. You can blow all the money you want to blow. That's, hey, listen, I don't care. But I'm telling you, you're going to be on the bottom. That's why they're bringing all these immigrants here to replace your black ass. They're not worried about you anymore. And I'm talking about the political party you vote for. And we know the Republicans don't give a damn about you because they don't even campaign to you. We are at war. That's why the title of this video, this broadcast, is War Briefing. I'm tired of playing, man. These young jits get it, man. These young folks get it, man. It's you 50 plus jokers that's out of touch. It's you 50 plus jokers that's fun to lose. These kids know how to work technology. Yo, you don't. Your old decrepit ass don't understand technology. You don't. And then you mad at Juice because I'm putting this stuff in your face, and then you mad at me because why? Because you don't want to be a critical thinker. Because you don't want to be an intelligent, intellectual thinker. So you get mad at Juice. Oh, you putting all this stuff on you. You a conspiracy theorist, Juice, and you a Trump. No, you just a loser. That's what you are. You just a loser. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to be the messenger, man. Look at this. Devices, wireless devices are exploding. 450 people injured. Probably will die, most likely. How you don't know this same type of technology with these bombs in it are coming over here to America? You under attack. You're under attack. And you don't even care. Your kids are doomed. Your family is doomed. And you're going to drag my family down with you. You're a loser. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this. You're a loser. How you going to protect your family? Y'all always talking about old Trump and MAGA and da. Man, do y'all know the type of artillery these folks got? And you running around here with a rusty ass 38. You running around here with a rusty ass damn Mike 10 from 1992. You're doomed. You're not ready for war. How are you declaring war? You remember that game we used to play, Professor, with the cards? I declare war. You remember that? You remember we used to have a card and we used to play war? I declare.
I'll try to get some work done.
I'm bro. Listen, I'm done, bro. I'm done. And they gonna be mad at me while they be like, oh, those Jews involved, them niggas be on that, They be on there with all that. Man, don't nobody care about your emotions, bro. That's why you losing, because you too emotionally unstable.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong. All of us got some weakness. Come on, bro. It's time to take accountability. This is gonna be a short program tonight, Professor. Go on, get in what you got to get in. I got a long day. I got to go to a funeral. One of my 19-year-old cousins just passed away. They don't even know why she died. I gotta go to a funeral and bury my 19-year-old cousin.
You know, you just there are people you talking about, Juice, and I bear your frustration. But I guess because I'm getting older and I try to manage my blood pressure, I would just have one simple question for these people. What are you doing for the culture? You know, you got all these things to say. I just showed you, you calculated that and you agreed that I contribute $850,000. I was able to quantitate that value. So these people, you have to ask, what are you doing? Or do you want to do anything? Because let me tell you something. And I understand your passion, Juice, but it's going to hurt you, boy. It's going to hurt you so hard to see these casualties, man. It's nothing. I mean, when I look at what the government is doing, you know, I got my hands on a lot of things. As far as the government is concerned with black people, anybody that's above third grade, they've written you off. If you're above, you on your own. You really, seriously, as far as the government is concerned, and that you got to understand how the government think. And it's unfortunate that, you know, you got to understand how European, you know, we don't think like that, but they think like human cleansing, you know, all this, you know, we'll set things up, you know, when you talk about policy, you know, we don't have discussion. I would love to have intellectual discussion about policy. You know, you're very kind to talk about my PhD, but I have a master's degree. My master's degree is in public and business administration. I do policy, bro. And then you have to look at what I call policy design. How is policy design that impacted us? And I'm just telling you again, and I'll end like this. You got to understand the first policy. You had to have a policy to make this money like these people. Think about it. And I hate to try to think like white folks, but the land wasn't worth nothing without slaves. So I can just imagine these white folks, because I read the history, how they sat down and they designed a policy that involved you so that they could make money. You wasn't, and people got to come to the reality of that. And the first policy, number one, the first policy was based on religion. They justified treating you like an animal as property and all of this kind of stuff based on Christianity. Go read that. Now, when some of the other people, and I'm trying to make it short, they're saying, well, you know, that's when the abolitionists, because something deep down inside with them said that these people are human beings. They shouldn't be treated like animals. They shouldn't be killed like roaches. All these horrific things. So they said, okay, we get. They said, okay, we got, okay. So then what they did, they attacked your physiology, right? They attack your mental capacity. They say, okay, fine. Jesus didn't say, you know, slave be your master and all that. We kind of, they ease up off it too bad. They just regulate it. But then they went to your mind to still justify and write policies saying that you didn't have the mental capacity to do this and do that and do this. See? Policy. I can talk about those. Those were policies. And all I'm saying is, I feel your pain. And I'll end by saying, all you want to do, where's a policy that affects us? Because this land, this American soil, wasn't worth nothing had it not been for black slaves, bro. You couldn't grow shit by yourself, and they wasn't trying to grow nothing. So I'll rest on that, Doctor. Just keep up the good work, man. I feel my days been like, I felt like an old sweaty slave, been out working out there in that fruit grove with that yoke sack around my neck all day.
Right. Correct. And I'm gonna end on this right here, man. Let's see if I can pull it up. I'm gonna end on two notes tonight. Two notes. I'm gonna end on two notes tonight, and I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it home. Block me tonight. That's okay. They blocking me tonight. Let's see if we can pull this one up right here. Daily Mail. There we go. Okay. Don't let me do that one either. Let's try this one right here. Try this one right here. Watch this here. Right here. I'm gonna just pull the title up so you can see it for yourself. So I ain't gotta like keep playing with y'all. Now y'all remember last week in California, the Reparations Committee of California, they tried to introduce a bill for reparations for Foundation of Black Americans, right? And so Governor Newsom, now this Kamala Harris's district. Her and Governor Newsom were buddy buddies, and they worked together. Kamala was the state attorney or the U.S. attorney for Los Angeles, and Governor Newsom was the mayor for Los Angeles. So they got a really good relationship. And Governor Newsom is butthurt right now because he thought that him being a white male was going to surpass Kamala going up for president of the United States. And so a lot of people was throwing Governor Newsom's name in the hat. So he butthurt about Kamala. They selected Kamala over him. So they kind of fell out a little bit. But last week, Governor Newsom threatened to veto, and a lot of the Black Caucus of California, the NAACP and all of them, had an opportunity to put a bill on the floor that would help California residents of foundational Black Americans, American descendants of slaves, be able to qualify for reparations. I'm talking about thousands and thousands, millions of dollars. And Governor Newsom started acting all janky about it. So the Black Caucus, they didn't let the bill, the NAACP, they didn't let the bill come to the floor. They literally shot the bill down. The Black people did this. The Black Democrats did this, not the Republicans. And the Republican senator, he tried to implement the bill. But they didn't want to let him implement the bill. You know what I'm saying? And so let's take a look at what Governor Newsom was up to this week after he threatened these Black. I'm not going to even say he threatened them. That's just how they made the scenario look. But check this article out right here. Can y'all see that? Can you see that, Professor?
Yep.
He signed this bill today. He signed this bill today for the Holocaust victims, the Jewish anti-Semitic Holocaust victims. Now let's keep it at 100. The Holocaust didn't even happen in America, nor was it inflicted by America. Why do we keep having to pay Holocaust genocide victims, and then they're over there in Israel right now committing genocide on to the Palestinians and all of the other religious Muslims? But the same thing they trying to get reparations for, they inflicting on another group or subculture. And he just kicked us out and said, okay, well, I'm going to sign this one here. Go look it up. It passed today. The JPAC. There they go. Jewish Public Affairs. There it go. And you going to go vote for more of this? And let's keep it a buck 100. Kamala, old man, he Jewish. He's a rich Jewish guy with all types of money. I think they say he's a 70% owner in Sirius Radio. Everybody got Sirius Radio in their cars. Go read it. Read it for yourself. Facts matter, man. We dropping hot facts over here. We dropping hot facts. We don't play. They just turned down a reparation bill for us, and then they turn right around and sign this bill for them, and they're not even from America. Look at them. Do that dude right there look like you? Professor, that dude right there look like you?
Well, you know, everybody got this term. I identify as a rich white Jewish person. I just don't have the money.
There you go. And I'm not hating on them. I'm not being anti-Semitic. I'm not trying to tell you to hate anybody. But come on, man. Enough is enough, man.
No, you know what? And my Jewish friends, they just shake their head, bro.
I got several Jewish friends, but guess what? I bet them Jewish friends ain't gonna say, "Oh no, Jews, you right. Y'all need to come get some of this, and we'll help y'all here. We'll hand some of this over to y'all. Here y'all go."
Well, but you know what, dudes? Well, hold on, man. You got to be fair to the Jewish community. And what, you remember some time ago, I showed you that Jewish community in New York. They had their own ambulance. They even had a service where they went. You know,
they some go-getters. They some go. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking the hustle, but I'm just trying to say, how we gonna come up? How are we going to come up?
That's a damn good model. That's a good model. I mean, that video, and then you know, in the interview, when he asked the Jewish guy, he said, "You're doing all of this for your community. How do you pay for it?" He said,
How do you afford it?
How do you afford it? He said, the community
pays for it.
How the hell are you gonna be mad at that?
Can't be mad. Because we taking our money and we sending it over to Jamaica. We giving it to Carnival Cruise Line. We giving it to Louis Vuitton. We giving it to Tommy Hilfiger. And Tommy Hilfiger say he don't even like our black ass. We giving it to damn Dillard's. We giving it to damn Beach Week. We giving it to damn Tom Joyner. We giving it to damn... I can go on and on where you waste your money at. We giving it to flights here, flights there.
Yeah, you making everybody else rich, but them people, look, the man I saw with the man car, he couldn't bring. You know, we got the car. I don't know how much it costs to have your car unlocked. They tell me $200 if you got to call AAA if you lock your keys in the car, right? The Jewish community, the man called. He called the Jewish network that they had. They dispatched, and guess what?
Yeah.
The man. Then he said, well. He asked the young boy, he said, well, you haven't been working in the unit long. He said, how did you learn to do this? He said, we teach each other.
We teach each other. You sure said it.
What?
I'm not mad at him one bit. And like I say, we getting exactly what we deserve, Professor, because we finna go out, come in the next, 4-5 months, and we finna go vote for the same subjugation and the same damn lawlessness and the same damn, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like they just deny us and they just look over us and we finna go. So when you go and you don't have a man,
I gotta argue with you on that. Hold on. I just watched Sheriff Grady Judge. Okay, we kind of talked about that, but let me just kind of spit this out for a minute now. See, this goes back to accountability. Sheriff Judge said himself, he rounded up 144 gang members.
Right.
Okay. And so he also said, they were asking him, well, why do you think they like that? Sheriff Judge himself said, the mom and daddy like that. He said it a little bit more professionally, but his point was, it's generational. It is not law enforcement job to impact your economy. Law enforcement job is to enforce the law, but I will give Sheriff Grady Judge, he goes beyond that. Because I know some sheriffs around the country wouldn't even do closer with Sheriff Grady Judge doing, especially, and he has a very high tolerance for foolishness. Because I know some sheriffs, they wouldn't play the music. You think you're in slavery. So you know something else? I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something else, Juice. Now watch this. What term is this Sheriff Judge in?
I'm not real sure. I gotta check that out. He's got like 2 more years in this term.
Sheriff Judge been in office forever. This might be, he done broke all kind of Sheriff Judge, he done been elected like 7 times. He might be going for number 10. That man is because that man has a good heart. But let me warn you something. You better be careful. You don't know who's going to take his place. And you know something else? I don't understand how the man is passionate, one thing, but, one day Sheriff Judge ain't going to be there. And you got to understand something. The sheriff is the most powerful law enforcement agency in that county. It's county and it's local. So, you might have enough, you might, from a political perspective, because it's an elected position. So, with all this gang stuff and all this, Sheriff Judge said, man, you know what? I'm done with this. Here we get. You don't know who you're going to get. You might get somebody that's not going to work with me, Reverend Ham Hock and Reverend Chicken. Because you know why? Again, from the community, you cannot govern yourself. And
black folks, not even, like what you just said, they don't even understand the dynamics of what you just said. Man. They thinking, it's going to be all right. We can get somebody like y'all claim a MAGA sheriff or something like that come in here, what y'all consider to be MAGA. Me personally, I think the Democrats way worse than MAGA, but that's just my perspective. Because I ask everybody time and time again, tell me what racist laws Trump got on the books, and I can tell you I can match 5 racist laws that Biden got that's undermining black society. I can name several policies Kamala has on the book that undermines foundational black Americans. I look for it with Trump. I can't find not one policy. So, like Professor said, you can get somebody in there way worse because you don't even know what systemic racism look like if it slapped you in the face. And it slapped you in the face for the last 3-4 years, and you're clueless right now.
You know what they're going to bring up?
You're suffering.
They're going to say she can't control crime. What?
She can't. And she used to be a law enforcement officer.
Well, I don't think
she's sold out.
I don't think none of them can until they apply technology. They're going to use technology. You need to look at what China. You need to look at what China is doing to manage and govern their population. That's a communist country, and they off the chain with AI. And these people are going to use AI and robotics for law and order. I don't care what part it is.
Listen, family, you see the QR code in the bottom. We're trying to build this platform so we can inform it. You can be around here on some goofball shit, watching football, and you could be at the game. Probably a lot of people at the game. I not come on now. My brother's a football coach. They out of town tonight, but I support local football and all of that. But all this goofy stuff you on, man, and you trying to waste money, and you worried about games and basketball season and football season, and you worried about going on that trip tomorrow and this and that, man. You got bigger fish to fry, man. So, hey, you can ignore this information we give you. Like I said, I don't have to do this, man. I do this because I love y'all, and I'm trying to make my grandkids have a better place where they can be, technologically savvy and be ready for the future. The rate we going, shut the hell up complaining, okay? Because if you're not tuning in to Urban Matters, if you're not hitting that QR code at the bottom of your screen, if you're not taking this and liking and sharing, and I hate to be so direct with y'all, man, but man, I run out of patience. I'm not a real patient person when it comes to grown folks. Now, children, I'm completely patient. I can deal with kids all day, but 50 and 60 plus and 70 plus year old buck broken and memorized men and women, ladies and gentlemen, I have no patience for just retardedness and just lack of intelligence. We have way more intelligence than we have. And listen, by the time it's over with this platform, I guarantee you, we're shooting for the stars. The professor, me, and a lot of black men that's starting to stand up. That's what y'all ain't used to. Y'all ain't used to black men standing up and saying, hey, we taking over. We got political maturity. We're not going out here. We're not voting for nothing this year. We're not going to continue to be democratic. And these people get to ignore us. These people get to deny us, and they get to just basically abuse us and just, I can't take it anymore. I can't, Professor. And so we're gonna teach these younger folks and let these older folks die off, man. And Professor, I salute you because it's very rare we see a guy your age that's tapped in and tuned in like you are, Professor. And I just want to thank you for your education. I want to thank you for contributing your education back to the community. And that's how. Make sure you hit the QR code at the bottom and tap in with us, man. And so let me get y'all this real quick. You can also go to the Cash App right here at the bottom of your screen. C. Johnson BP. Yes, sir. Black Group Economics. That's what we're doing. Who can tell me what Black Group Economics is? Come on, family. Let's get with it, man. All kin folks ain't